Being a healthcare educator on social media can drive me crazy sometimes. I can work really hard on a detailed educational short form video that can absolutely bomb. And then I can create something in a few minutes that can go viral. Here's what I've learned from my top 10 performing YouTube shorts, all about education and support for the fertility community. I'm Dr. Lora Shahine. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm a double board certified OBGYN and reproductive endocrinologist that loves educating on social media. And so in this video, I'm reflecting on my top 10 performing YouTube shorts, what my inspiration was, the comments that have come from these shorts, what I'm trying to teach people, and why I think these are resonating so much within the fertility community, but maybe even beyond. Okay, so let's get to the YouTube shorts. This is my 10th most popular YouTube short. It's about causes of miscarriage. So what I'm trying to say here is it is so common to blame yourself for miscarriage. Women are really good at doing this, blaming themselves, because we don't share how common it is. We don't share the educational piece that the most common cause of miscarriage is a chromosome issue within the embryo. It's the way that the egg and sperm came together. It is unique to that pregnancy. Your body is figuring it out. It still feels awful. That doesn't mean it's not an awful experience and you grieve that loss, but actually your body is working to figure this out. And it does not mean that the exact same thing is going to happen in your next pregnancy. Now, I do recommend that people get an evaluation and make sure they're not missing issues that can cause a miscarriage. Don't make assumptions, but every pregnancy is a new opportunity. And this is the message in my book, Not Broken, an approachable guide to miscarriage and recurrent pregnancy loss. That is the message. You are not broken. I don't want you to blame yourself for miscarriage. I want you to learn more about it and advocate for your care. So let's get to number 9. This YouTube short is the exact same theme. Let's watch. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, just because you think a miscarriage is your fault, I'm going to take that thought away and I'm going to throw it in the trash, because just because you think it, it does not make it true. So let's get to number 8, and you're going to see a very similar theme. Watch it.
Some people claim that there's a woman to blame, but I know it's nobody's fault.
So I love the Jimmy Buffett song. I love the characters. I do a lot of that on different media platforms, but just kind of using the music to kind of give a point, like, hey, someone is getting vulnerable. Someone is sharing that they're struggling with infertility and miscarriage. And in a group, you're kind of waiting for somebody to say those things that are just not comforting. And I list a couple of them in the short, and I'm just kind of waiting for somebody to sort of shame somebody for a lot of the blame, kind of add to that stigma. And then when they don't, I'm like, yes, you're right, because infertility and miscarriage is no one's fault. Let's get to number 7. This is where I show one of my favorite procedures. It's a hysteroscopy. Let's take a look. Hey, want to see the inside of the uterus? Come do a hysteroscopy with me. A hysteroscopy is a simple procedure in which a camera is placed inside the uterine cavity and we can fix anything we find. First, let's make sure the patient's nice and comfortable and asleep. This is the instrument that we use that goes through the cervix and into the uterine cavity, and we can see through a camera on this screen. So here I am kind of getting ready, making sure everything's perfect, taking a look inside. Look, that is the inside of the cervix. And here is the inside of the uterine cavity. That's the opening of a fallopian tube back there. It's like, oh, what's that? That is a polyp. And here are these simple graspers. I'm gonna get you. It's really fun. It's like a video game. And we're really helping this patient by removing this polyp. It's a simple procedure, so fun and wonderful to help people. So hysteroscopy is a simple procedure. It's done in our outpatient clinic here in Seattle. It's a way to look inside the uterine cavity and make sure that it's perfect. So I can not only diagnose, but also treat uterine polyps, fibroids that are in the uterine cavity, scarring or adhesions. It's just an incredible tool. And I do it a couple times a week. It's really common, and I want people to understand. It's so nerve-wracking to be told by someone, "Oh, you're going to have a procedure," and just have no concept of what's going on. And so I want people to be empowered and educated. They can watch this video and then ask more questions from their own provider. My sixth most popular YouTube short is another procedure that I do every week, taking care of my patients. Watch me do an egg retrieval. Join me for an egg retrieval. It's one of my favorite procedures. We use an ultrasound in order to see the ovary clearly. We place a needle into each follicle, drain that follicular fluid in order to capture each egg, pass the fluid into a test tube. That's where the term test tube baby comes from. The embryologist picks up the fluid and looks through it very carefully to find each egg. It's absolutely amazing. So an egg retrieval, most people in the world have not seen an egg retrieval, and it's an amazing procedure. It's very simple. There's no incisions on their belly. There's no stitches. When the person is totally asleep and comfortable, I do visualization before somebody goes to sleep for their egg retrieval. I'm like, where are you going today? Pick a bucket list. Let's imagine. Most people pick a beach. I'm in Seattle, so most people pick Hawaii. Sometimes it's Mexico, but it's fun that people actually pick different places. But while they're asleep, it's a vaginal ultrasound. So I can see the ovaries, and it's just a little needle that goes through the upper wall of the vagina right into the ovaries. We just drain the follicles. It takes less than 20 minutes, and people wake up and they're in the clinic for about an hour and a half, and they go home and rest. And so how amazing, if you were getting ready to do an egg retrieval, you can see what it's like because you're asleep when it's happening. And so just hopefully educating people so that they have less anxiety and just seeing what it's really like. I hope this helps. My fifth most popular YouTube short is a topic that I cover a lot: toxins and their impact on reproductive health. This is specifically about caffeine and whether switching to decaf is really the right way to go. So watch this. Is decaffeinated coffee really better for you? A lot of my patients who are trying to conceive, who are pregnant, switch to decaf because they think it's safer. Caffeine has been associated with some poor pregnancy outcomes. However, it's the way that coffee is decaffeinated that might be an issue. Most coffee is made decaffeinated using chemicals such as solvents. Look for decaffeinated coffee that is chemical-free, solvent-free, or certified organic. So this YouTube short is answering a common question. You know, if you're worried about caffeine intake, if you drink decaf, is that okay? I have a whole YouTube video, long-form video, educating you on the research surrounding how much caffeine is okay during trying to conceive and then in early pregnancy. So watch that if you want to learn more. But a common assumption for my patients is, oh, well, decaf is okay. And what people don't realize is that there are a lot of chemicals that are often used in order to strip the caffeine away from the coffee bean. And so they should really look for water-treated beans in order to have an alternative if they really want decaf. And I educate a lot on toxins and endocrine disruptors impacting our overall health and well-being, because there is so much evidence around plastics, things that we're using on our skin, like beauty products, and how making different choices can actually decrease that exposure and increase not only our overall health, but our reproductive health. And I have lots of videos here on BPA and fertility, phthalates and fertility, lots of education here on my website. I have whole chapters in my books on integrative approach to fertility, Eastern and Western approach. There's a whole chapter on lifestyle optimization. And in it, there's a big section on decreasing toxins. Same thing in my miscarriage book, Not Broken. I really want to teach people this, but a huge message is I don't want people to spiral into a blame, shame feeling when they're thinking about toxins. There are small changes that you can make, like just choosing fragrance-free laundry detergent. That is one thing that you could do when you go to the store and you buy your next laundry detergent that will improve your health. I talk to people about find balance. You cannot eliminate everything, but it's just decreasing some exposures to improve your overall health. And I love this content, and I'd love to know in comments any questions that you have about toxins, because there's got to be a way to educate without fear. My fourth most popular YouTube short is another procedure. It's an HSG, or a hysterosalpingogram. This is a common fertility test that's done often in the initial evaluation. And people are so curious about what to expect, and they love watching kind of behind the scenes. So here you go. Join me today for a hysterosalpingogram. A hysterosalpingogram, or HSG, is a very common fertility test. It's used to screen anatomy using a speculum so we can see the cervix, and this tool that we place into the cervix. It allows fluid to go through the cervix into the uterine cavity and spill through the fallopian tubes. This is how we can make sure the fallopian tubes are open and the inside of the uterus is nice and normal. Watch, here is the uterus, and look at the fluid going through the fallopian tubes. It's all happening in real time. Nice, normal HSG. This is such a pain point for so many of my patients because people talk about how uncomfortable the procedure can be and, really worried about it. There are people that do have pain with this procedure or discomfort, but it's usually very quick. You can talk to your doctor who's doing the procedure, go through tips, take pain medication beforehand. Like, there's lots of tips, but the majority of people say, yes, it was crampy, but it went away quickly. And I'm just so glad that I have that information. And just seeing the equipment, seeing the procedure and what the images look like, I think can really decrease someone's worry and get more information. And I encourage you to watch this short and actually go through the comments that are there. People talk about, yes, there are people that say it was very painful, but a lot of people say, thank you for this. I'm so glad I had this so I'd be more prepared. And quite honestly, it wasn't as painful as I thought it was going to be. So everybody's unique and different, but I just hope that these educational videos help. My third most popular YouTube short is a window into what it's really like being a fertility doctor. Take a look. So what I'm trying to share is the very inappropriate comments I often get when I share that I'm a fertility doctor. And I'm sort of joking, but kind of not. Like, sometimes I just avoid telling people what I do. I might say, oh, I'm in medicine, or, oh, I'm a physician. And what do you do? Like, I try to kind of play it back. And it's okay. Like, I love sharing. I absolutely love what I'm doing, but sometimes you just want to hang out and don't really want to hear all these negative comments, quite honestly, about what I do. But most of the time people share their positive stories. I don't want it to be too negative, but this was just a kind of a little snarky video. And quite honestly, they're all very real examples. My second most popular YouTube short is this reaction video I did with a wonderful creator. She goes by Jeannie Weenie. I love her. I followed her forever. She is a flight attendant and has posted so many reaction videos and skits about being a flight attendant. And then most recently, she got married and she's pregnant and she shared having a baby. And I followed her forever and I'm so happy for her. And when she showed this video and I reacted to it, it just was wildly popular because so many people can relate. Watch it.
I can't believe this happened right after our baby was born.
Sorry, you got double rainbow on your birthday. Because you're our rainbow baby.
Thank you, universe, for the ultimate gift.
So a rainbow baby is a baby that is born after a history of loss and miscarriage. So the feeling is it's the rainbow after the storm. Like, someone's gone through a lot of grief and loss, and then they, kind of feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never actually going to be a parent. I'm never actually going to have a baby to hold in my arms. And then they do. And so the fact that this creator who, I've admired for so long, I've laughed with for so long, was able to share this is really powerful, and I appreciate it so much. And finally, my number one most watched YouTube short, of course, it's all about the Kardashians. Watch it. So every time the word Kardashian and IVF and fertility gets spoken, it is just whatever story it is, whether it is reality, and quite honestly, most of the time, it's, reflection on body image or just really science that is not true. It just gets blasted everywhere and all over, and just gets the news cycle around the Kardashians is just incredible. And anything that has to do with IVF, of course, comes to my attention. So I was just trying to reflect on please don't believe everything that you see in popular media, and please don't believe what influencers always say about fertility treatment and options. Just really try to get your content from channels like mine, board certified OBGYN and reproductive endocrinologist that's been helping people build families for almost 20 years. I really want to give evidence-based, balanced content and education. I could certainly get a lot more views if I was a lot more controversial, but there is no black and white in medicine. It's an art and there's somewhere in between. And I just want to support and help this incredible fertility community. I really hope that you enjoyed watching these shorts and kind of reflecting on why I think they're popular, what I'm trying to say. It really is so much of what I'm putting out there. It's all about support for the fertility community, busting myths about miscarriage and fertility, sharing my career and what it's like, reflecting on being a fertility physician, procedures that I do, education that I'm learning about toxins and reproductive health. I am here to educate. I'm on this journey with you. I'm a very curious person. And so please ask me questions that you're curious about. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to look it up because this is just an incredible journey for me. And thank you for being here. Like this video if you learned something, comment with questions that you have. And as always, stick around for more learning.